We're live.
Hey,
Happy Father's Day, y'all.
happy Father's Day, y'all.
It's easy to forget those American holidays when you don't live in America.
Yeah, but Mother's Day, the difference between the two holidays, y'all celebrate for a week.
As we deserve.
Well, I'm not saying you don't deserve it. Fathers, we get it about an hour.
2 hours.
Okay, 2 hours. Then it's like, hey, time to move on.
Right? So, y'all may not know, we have our meetups coming up this week. And we talked to one of the people that came here, and she ain't really feeling Lisbon. She's like, I don't see what all the hubbub's about.
Yeah, she's not feeling it. And I said, you're not feeling it yet. You have to give it a chance.
Every place is not for everybody.
Well, one of the things that anybody that comes, usually, if there's problems, is the hills. But as I tried to explain, there's flat areas. You don't have to be stuck living up a hill, but it's not like you're living here yet. So, there's time to figure out other places to be. It's all figure outable.
It's figure outable if you want to figure it out. And so we're going to talk about, basically the type of person that should be considering a move abroad. That's number one. And then number two, then what do you do when you move to a place and you don't like it? And anybody who doesn't want to walk the hills, I would say, as long as you can walk the hills, walk the hills. You don't want to regret that stuff. And we see people who come over here and are not as mobile as they should be, and it's hard. Like, you can't enjoy, and it's not just Lisbon, right? It's a lot of places you cannot enjoy thoroughly if you've got mobility issues. So if you don't have mobility issues right now, do what you need to do.
Get them legs together, build them up.
Exactly. But back to what we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about, what do you do when you move to a city or move to a country even, and you ain't feeling it? What do you do? Like, how does that work? Do you go back home? Did you fail? What does that look like?
Yeah.
So who are we talking to today?
Today we are talking to fam. You know how sometimes you go somewhere and it doesn't happen often, but you go somewhere and you meet people and you just gel. You just come together, and it's like you've known them forever, and they have that family feel, that family vibe. You know. So Dantrell and Crystal.
Yes. I'm not going to say from Salt Lake City, because they've lived a lot of places. They've lived a lot of places, and Salt Lake is just one of them. So let's get started. If you are just tuning in, my name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to Our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, we talk about travel and retiring abroad. We help folks who look like us, who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan, get their money straight. Yes. So that they can retire on time, or maybe even early. So if you're new to our channel, then you might not know, about 8 years ago, Rick and I got a wake-up call. We were getting close to retirement age. Y'all know the story, who's in the chat. And we looked at our money.
I ain't going to say it.
And it looked crazy.
It was crazy, y'all. Crazy.
It was crazy because we were consumers. But about 3.5, 4 years ago, we got our financial act together, and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth. If we can do that, y'all,
you can do it.
You can do it too. So if you find any of this interesting, please subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell so that you know every single time that we go live or drop a new video. And if you find this episode entertaining, hit that like. Hit the like. As Action VJ said, hit the like on your way in and show your love. Without further ado, hey there. How are you guys?
Hey.
So look, I don't even have my headphones in. I can't hear nothing.
She can't hear anything.
I can't hear
That's
nothing.
okay. We can hear you. That's the important part.
There you are. So we did not do a thorough job introducing you. So why don't you two introduce yourselves?
I love how you said we're not going to say Salt Lake City.
And then I said Salt Lake City.
I'm Crystal.
I'm D, Dantrell D.
And
Together we're just, well, Briscoes, or balanced Briscoes, and we've traveled quite a bit. Like you said, we've experienced Japan, we've experienced Mexico, and now we're experiencing Portugal. So
yeah. So I'm a military brat. He was military. So we've lived all over the globe. But we're so excited to be here.
Awesome.
We're excited to have you. We're excited to have you. Okay, so let's just start at the very, very beginning. Let's start with Japan.
All right.
Why did you move to Japan? And I know you lived in 2 different cities in Japan. So tell us what cities they are. I'd love to hear the differences and why you're not still there.
well, Japan was actually, I was still in the military when we went there. So received orders to go there. We were in mainland Japan, Misawa, which is
Way up north.
tons of snow, kind of more traditional Japan.
I had no idea Japan even had snow. So when he said,
Oh,
we
yeah.
got orders, we're going to Japan, I said, oh, where are we going? I pulled it up and the big snow statues. And I said, I'm sorry, what is this? Where
I
are we
used to
going?
see it on Mount Kilimanjaro all the time. I think they had snow caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, no, I didn't know Japan had snow.
Yeah,
either.
I didn't either. So that was a surprise.
And then so when we left Misawa, we immediately, not go to another country or anything, they immediately sent us down to Kadena, which is another part of Japan.
Okinawa.
So yes, it was Okinawa Island, which is very tropical, known for their crystal clear blue waters, along with their habu snakes.
Ooh.
I like to explain to people, we went from Antarctica to Africa. We went from one extreme to the next.
Wow.
On that little bitty island.
On that little bit, within 7 years. So 3 years up north and 4 years.
Now,
in
you
Okinawa.
say little bitty island. Okinawa is a little island off of the
Off the
main
little
island. of
island.
Japan.
Right.
Both of them are still their little islands, but yes.
Yeah. And so, and did you live on base or off base?
Both.
Both.
We wanted to experience. So when we were in the mainland, it was our first time. The thing is, that's a big jump. People hear Europe, but Asia is a whole nother beast, nother beast. So we lived on base. We were a young family.
Just getting started,
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
So we lived on base, but then we thought, okay, we've got this. When we go to Okinawa, let's go off base and experience more culture. We ended up going back on base because our kids were young and we did a lot of things on the base. So we were just commuting. We were just spending all our time in the car.
Yeah, there was a lot of commute time between me going back and forth to work, coming back to get the kids to do another activity on base, to come back to. Yeah,
but our neighbors were Japanese. So we would speak in Japanese, like good morning, which is Ohayo gozaimasu. And our neighbors, traditional Japanese, they'd say good morning. We'd be like, oh. And then we'd say good morning. And they'd say, Ohayo gozaimasu. The opposite. And then one day he went out and said, our neighbor just told us howdy.
Oh, no, they didn't.
Yes.
What John Wayne movie were they watching? I mean, what?
That's exactly what I thought. Are they watching Westerns? Howdy?
They're just learning and picking up. And
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, that was our trip in Japan, pretty much, was between those two.
And so, but you were there for 7 years. So what part of the culture was the most shocking that you had to adjust to the most? And I know it's not the same when you're insulated on the base, but you two wanted to venture out a little bit more and things like that. So you actually left the base because y'all was talking about folks not leaving the base.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I actually taught English to Japanese students. So we were fully immersed. We put our kids into culture school. So they were writing in kanji and bringing home origami. And
oh, wow.
We've tried to fully immerse ourselves. But for me, I think the biggest was the language. And I know people say language, but no, truly the language and the culture is a very reserved, generally speaking, space. And I'm not so reserved. A little bit. So, but it was good. I mean, I think that was probably the biggest.
And I'll agree with her on that, because from there it's kind of where I got the idea of, if you can understand a language, you can understand the mindset of a culture of a person in the place, because how they speak and how they say certain words kind of emphasize what's important in that area. So,
Yeah.
And I need to correct myself too. It's not Mount Kilimanjaro, it's Mount Fujiyama.
Mount Fuji.
yeah, Mount
It's
Fuji.
like, okay, Kilimanjaro,
I kind of knew what you were meaning and leading to. So,
yeah, it's Mount Fujiyama.
Did you look it up on your phone, or you just
No,
remembered?
Caballo,
Oh,
he corrected me. I was like, that's right. It's
look,
Kilimanjaro's in Africa.
look, our subscribers will let you know. Kilimanjaro's in Africa. You meant Mount Fuji, of course.
Fuji.
And they will let us know.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's been a long time since I've been in school.
So yeah, definitely. And I don't remember all of my geography until I study it before we go.
Right.
Mhm.
It's true.
Or when I'm thinking about where to go next.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say the folks there are more reserved and
Right.
and you're not,
Right.
tell us what that looks like.
This is what I tell people. People are people wherever you go, right? You've got nice people, you got mean people, you got extroverts, you got introverts, you got shy, doesn't change no matter where you go. But as a culture, they're more reserved, more quiet. Respectability is huge, right? Very much honor, very much everything's. If you go get fries from McDonald's, they're bowing. You ask for a certain shoe size, they're handing it, they're bowing. Everything is very much extremely considerate.
Almost a subservient nature.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we were in Tokyo too. We went to Tokyo Disney and did all the things like subways. Everyone's very conscious of everyone else around them. So if it's no talking, it's no talking. If it's stand on the right, walk on the left, that's what they're doing. They think about other people. So I mean, that's one of the things I really miss about, because it's like, oh look, you're thinking about other people.
What a concept. You mean we're not just all a bunch of individuals pretending to be community, rugged individualists pretending to be community and pretending to act like family?
Exactly.
I think they do that a lot here as well, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when I was on the bus the other day, and you know, when at every stop, the people who are sitting in those front seats look to see who's getting on, and if someone is elderly or something like that, then you know, they are getting up out of the seat. No, come sit here, and this is what they do. So okay, so the meetup guy is trying to call me baby. I'm letting y'all know right here on air. We'll have to call back because he'll keep calling. Maybe she doesn't hear it, and I can't have that.
It's too funny.
I can't have that. So yeah, y'all know this is you're not gonna get perfection on Our Black Utopia. You're gonna get excellence, but you're not gonna get perfection. That we because you know we don't try to roll like that. But yeah, I have found that it seems like nearly every place that we have visited outside of the United States is more community oriented.
Yeah.
Focus, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so the one thing that you didn't answer, you were in the service when you were in Japan, but you could have returned and you chose not to. ¿Por qué no?
Okay, no. Well, I kind of went back to my family, and because going down to Kadena was going to be
Okinawa.
Okay, yes. Kadena's in Okinawa. I keep going to the base Kadena. She's correcting with the actual island. But we continue to get our pay, and the choices that was available for my career field wasn't very appetizing. I didn't want to go to Alaska.
I don't blame you.
Alaska?
Who wants to sit in the dark for 6 months out of the year?
Oh,
who wants to do that? That's like the most asinine idea in all of life. Like, I suppose if you're born and raised there, you don't know any different.
That's all you know, right?
But who would choose that? That makes no sense.
I know.
Yeah. So Alaska was not there. I could have went back to Korea again, but I've already done 2 Korea trips. And I said, I looked at it like this. I was like, I went to Korea single. I went to Korea married. The only other option is divorced. That's not happening. And then maybe the States, but we didn't want to go back to the States just yet. So
Yeah.
what was left on the choice, on the list to choose from was Kadena, Okinawa. And that's where we went.
I wasn't a fan. I didn't necessarily want to go. I was tired of Japan at that point.
Oh, tell us more.
I was tired of it, because like I said, so where we were, way up top, it's pretty rural. But it was, you make the best out of it, but it was not something that was like, it would be maybe, I don't know. I haven't been to Braga here in Portugal, but I'm thinking it's really kind of remote.
Remote, not too far away from the base. You run across the rice fields and everything else. So it's not really.
You had to know some
Wow.
Japanese because there wasn't we get spoiled as Americans basically everywhere we go. Somebody's going to speak English, but you go far enough from the base, 20, 30 minutes out, nobody. You have to know the basics. And it was just, it was a lot because we were a young couple when we had young kids. So to be away from family and friends and all the things and to be fully immersed into this very, very foreign way of living, like culture's different, food's different, language.
The writing's different.
Right.
Like you can't, first I got to even learn your alphabet before all 100 and 300 letters before I even begin to speak.
It's not
so
like
that would be a deal breaker for me.
She said a deal breaker.
I need to be able to read stuff.
I know.
And figure the language out. And I know it seems like somebody told me you can say the word, but the inflection of the word, if you don't say the inflection right, it means something different.
Yes. So for example, kawaii is like cute, pretty, and kawaii is monster. It's extreme. So you see a little cute baby and you're like, oh, kawaii, but you don't want to say, oh, kawaii, monster, so yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then when were you all in Germany?
I was in Germany as a child. I started school in Germany because my dad was
Okay.
Yeah.
So you two weren't in Germany together.
I have not seen Germany yet.
Okay.
Yet because there's still time to go.
That's right. And we're close.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's just that ain't nothing but a 40-year-old trip right there.
Now I tried to go. I joined the military thinking I'm gonna see the world.
Right.
The Air Force was like, we want you to see the Pacific. And that was it.
And that was it.
It looked like the camera froze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did our camera freeze?
That was it. We saw the Pacific and back to the States.
It was fine.
We're good now.
Yeah. We should have hit record. We got to remember to record. In any event. So I know we're live, and it records, but if you record it locally and you have glitches, you can take them out more easily. So if anybody's a YouTuber and on StreamYard, then that's one of the newer features. All right, let's see who is in the audience. I'm not sure if Earth Stellium is still here because she was here 3 hours ago.
She was here a while ago.
Wow.
Hey, Jay, so excited for this one. Great. And I don't know, Treliu?
That's our
son.
Oh, how's it pronounced?
That's little D.
How's he pronounced?
Yeah, he's
Treliu. Okay. I'm glad to look. Oh, so he's looking forward to seeing Mom and Dad. Hi, Eileen. Looking forward to this. I've done so much research on different cities in the state of Veracruz, Mexico, and kind of terrified that once I visit, I'm not going to like it. So we're going to talk about what you do if you move someplace and you don't like it.
Yeah.
Hey, Action BJ.
I'm shocked that you're in.
Right?
I thought you'd be out in these international streets like till 3 in the morning.
Right? And where's your brother?
Yeah,
hey,
how's
Shanora.
your brother doing?
Vanessa is in the house. Hey, Valerina. So yeah.
Thank you for the happy Father's Day.
Yes, thank you. Hey, Shanora from North Carolina. Krishan is in the house.
Hey.
Hey, Hey, Carmen, somewhere in Maryland, going back to DC. She's on the train somewhere. She don't know where she at.
That's
Mm.
She
funny.
don't know where she at. She
Don't-
greetings
you know
from
where she-
Buffalo. Is it hot and humid there?
Oof.
Right? Tasheen Parrish Thomas. Thank you for tuning in. The Art Appraiser is in the house from New Jersey.
Dr. Donna.
Grits are packed. Thank you, Dr.
Ah.
Donna.
Thanks for Happy Father's Day.
Yes, yes, definitely. Thank you, Kay Renee. I was just looking at pictures of us in LA. Marguerite is in the house. Hey,
Marguerite.
Marguerite, can't wait to
Hey.
see you tomorrow. Nicole is in the house. We all these people will be at the meetup tomorrow, right, Nicole? Now this seems like a new name, Jahari. I would remember that because our youngest is Jabari.
Jabari.
So Jahari.
Mm.
What does that mean? Hello from Cali. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome. Hey,
Frederica, how you doing?
is in the house. Hey, Jen. Jess is in the
Hey,
house.
Jess.
Killer Queen.
Killer Queen.
There she is. Hey, Allison and Chastity. Who else? We got Tanya is logging in. Y'all let us know where you're logging in from too. Hey, Dana. I want to see. Hey, KB, all of the different countries and states.
Right.
It's really, really interesting. All right, Allison is in the house.
All right.
And we've got Love Park Connection. Y'all here? Y'all here yet? You should be here.
Yeah.
I said Jess. Yep. Paula Washington. V is in the house. We're so glad. Hey, Myra, good to see you. Karen Louise is in the house.
Wow.
ABX
Thanks
girl.
for the Happy Father's Day.
Yes, Ra. All right, y'all. Holly, we love you guys. Paula, thank you. Sharon Wealth. She's in Cascais. Simply Me. We love it. All right, Jametta. If you have a question or a comment that you want us to put on screen, feel free to put it in, put a Q in front of it. All right,
Got
so that
text.
I
Yeah, see.
will not miss it. So who do you see?
Seeing the Central Texas, it's going to always draw my eye. I don't know which part.
This is Dallas right there.
Central Texas.
Oh,
From the DMV. I love
Ballerina.
it. All right. Yeah, Texas. That just sounds like hot. That just sounds like hot.
Horrible. Hell, not hot hell.
Right? Okay.
It's okay when
So-
you grow up in it, but you can't bring other people into Texas and expect them
I
to.
don't want to go.
Don't make me do it.
Don't make me do it.
Don't make me do it. Hey, Mike. Good to see you. Wow. Seeing some names I haven't seen in a while. Hey, Anna. All right. So let's talk about, okay, where is Japan the only place out of the country that you lived while still in the military?
Yes.
Japan, well, I did Korea, but yes.
Okay. So
had a
together.
couple years.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, two of our friends here, everybody knows Christina and Aman of Our Rich Journey. They lived in Japan for what, 8 years?
Yeah, I believe so.
8 years. And then dad is still there. So
Yeah.
that means he's been there, 15 years or
Yeah,
something.
we knew people that had been there like 15, 20 years. They bought land,
Okay.
which is extremely rare to do.
Yeah.
As foreigners in certain
Right.
Real. Okay.
Right.
I didn't know if you could buy land in Japan.
Well, and he's married to a Japanese lady, so that changes things as well. But yeah, I just can't imagine. I can't imagine, learning another lettering system. And how many letters do they have in their alphabet?
Look,
Because
Google. We got Google.
yeah, like I remember when my son was talking about he wanted to learn Japanese, and I can't remember if it was Japanese or Mandarin. He was talking about 300 letters. I was like, oh no.
It's yeah.
Oh no.
It's intense. It's intense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the first place y'all decided to move to then outside of the United States?
After my military career, we went to Mexico for 3 months, 4 months.
Okay.
But we already knew that was kind of being a stepping stone towards getting to Portugal.
Yeah.
Portugal was already on our list to coming on over. We were already kind of planning to leave the States. And so while we were waiting on paperwork to get squared away, we went ahead and went down to Mexico.
Not really. Not really. We want to say we are. I always tell people. I said we did it very irresponsibly.
Yes.
We came to Portugal without sight unseen. People do scouting trips. We didn't. I researched, and we said we're moving to Portugal, and they said, "What?
See, and they usually will deny people who haven't been here.
Really? Maybe we got
Mhm.
here before. I don't know. Really?
Right.
Yeah, I'm
it could
Seeing
be.
the comment that you said, yes, I remember seeing that quite a bit, and we kind of just went off faith, basically, faith and the knowledge that eventually the dollar turns eyes. So knowing that what the minimum was, and I'm like, well, I make well above the minimum, so I'm pretty sure they're going to still be willing for me to spend what I make. here.
Right. So you guys moved to Mexico for 4 months.
Right.
Where in Mexico? And did you get a visa, or were you there just on the tourist visa?
Tourist visa. What was the first city?
Merida. Well, tell check, but I don't really call it. I just say Merida because we were
Telcheck, which is just a little bit outside, and Telcheck, while we were there, it was interesting.
I chose it because of the Airbnb.
You like the Airbnb?
Yes, I love the Airbnb. And then we got to the place and I said, "What is this? Where are we?" Yeah. So I think we were there for like a week. We were supposed to be a month. We were going to rent it for a month. I think it was like a weekend. I said, "We got to get out of here. Where are we?" So then we went to Merida.
Okay.
So nice Airbnb in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
It was
All right.
beautiful Airbnb, but in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I think
yeah.
that
So then-
yeah, go ahead.
So then in Merida, did that change everything? It was, it's more of a bigger city.
Yes. It was way better. It was way better.
Yeah, you want, like, in Telcheck, we were kind of like in a rundown outside country area that if it wasn't at the Airbnb, it was, no, I don't mind walking. I don't. But I had to walk almost 40 minutes, it seemed like, to get into the town to get
It wasn't
Oh.
that bad.
just,
It was pretty bad. It wasn't that bad.
so, I mean, it was interesting, but
So
it
a
wasn't-
40-minute walk to get milk.
Oh. Ah, you're bringing us back to the
And the thing was, whenever we tried to do Uber Eats, it didn't seem to work there.
That's gonna be the deciding factor. Does Uber Eats run on this route? Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Sorry for the outside noise, y'all, but it's just too hot. So, okay, so Merida.
Yep.
Yep.
And I liked that a lot better. It was hot, but it was beautiful. And there was
What time of year were you there?
When were we there? It was January.
Yeah.
January.
January.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
So-
why.
But it was still warm. So I
I
can
know.
only imagine what summer was like because it was upper 80s, low 90s. So
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and that's in the
Sure.
winter time.
yes.
Yeah.
So you didn't hit the humidity. I think the humidity is more in the summer. Now, so did you bring your kids with you?
Yes.
Yes.
So we left. After we left Japan, we went to Florida. After Florida, we went to Utah. After Utah, we went to Mexico. And we left Utah. It was January, so it was cold in Utah. So we went to the sunshine and the beaches. Which I
warm.
really wanted. Yeah. And then after Merida, we went to Cancun.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you find that?
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. We were super touristy.
Did you ever think about getting temporary or permanent residency in Mexico?
No, not at the time, because we already had our sights set on Portugal.
Okay.
I see somebody already brought up the question, but yeah, early on in my career, I heard great things about Portugal. So Portugal was always in the back of my head as an interesting and really great place to be. So we already, and then she was doing her research, and Portugal came up again, and it's like,
Actually, Panama, Spain, and Portugal. Those were the top three. Was on our list when we were like,
Okay.
"Yeah, the
Okay.
States isn't it? Where are we going?" Then it was the research, and
You
then
know,
it was
we never thought about Panama at the time when we were thinking about
No,
Portugal.
because
We're Spain.
no, I wasn't thinking about no damn Panama because I don't do heat and humidity.
You know
Why
what?
why would I consider that?
I don't know. I don't think. And weather's huge for us. That's a big factor for us. Some people, it's not, but for us, it is.
And for me, it is. I don't want to be too cold, and I don't want to be too hot.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't.
Yeah.
I despise cold.
See?
Despise it. I can deal with heat all day long, but I
Yeah.
despise the cold.
So he loved Utah, is what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Utah was his favorite.
To me, I can do the snow as long as I got two boards on my feet and I'm sliding down a hill.
He said,
I spent too much time shoveling that crap.
Other than that, I don't want to be bothered.
And here's the thing in Masawa, because I was like, it snows. I'm from Utah. I know snow. No, that was another type of snow because there's no mountains to catch it like in Utah.
Right.
So we had, that's where I got my first car starter because I can't go out there. I mean, I got to I'd start my car up inside. We had the big, our kids would build tunnels in the back. I mean, it was like Alaska snow.
Wow.
Insane.
So it was wetter.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because Utah, like Colorado, is arid,
powder.
so it's powder.
Nope, it was wet and it was yeah.
Yeah.
For 3 years. I mean, you need like jackets and like for what was it, 4th of July? Like it really doesn't get super hot.
See, and I've been in Colorado 4th of July when it snowed on 4th of July.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
Colorado.
They've
had weird weather like that.
Yep. Yeah.
Sounds like
we've had snow in June.
Like
yeah.
We've had snow in June in Colorado, but it was a heavy snow.
The wet kind.
Yeah, it's just wet and heavy, and it tears all the trees up, and then it goes away.
Exactly.
Right. I remember seeing all the people going up the highway camping on 4th of July weekend, and then it snowed that night. The next morning, they all coming right back down.
Get us out of here.
Get us out of here. So how did the kids enjoy Mexico? And how old were they at the time?
Look at me. They're fine. So
17? Yeah.
17, and we had our little one. I adopted my nephew, so he was like, what, 5?
Yeah, I think
he was little. So we had a big gap.
Okay.
Kids are, I was a military kid. My kids grew up. They're like, all right, we're going on another adventure. We're going on another airplane.
Right.
Yay, hotels, Airbnbs. I
don't have to do chores.
Exactly. We're eating out, whatever. The life of a child, right? Like this is the best. Yeah. So yeah, they enjoyed it. And yeah, as a parent, you're always trying to make sure you accommodate for them and make sure they're acclimating well, and you try to keep things as, normal as possible.
Still try to get like the little one, he's still young, so he still has a bunch of energy. So we had to find stuff for him to do.
He had to find stuff for him to do.
Yes. But then a 17-year-old, let's be real, this is a computer generation with them. So.
Right.
They don't want to be bothered with you.
Yeah. Once he had internet and stuff,
that's true.
He was good. So
yeah. That's true.
Have you seen, you've interacted with other people's kids in the United States. Yeah. Do you see a difference in your kids and the way they view the world and like these other people's kids?
1,000%.
These other people's kids.
No, I say that about my own kids. No, 1,000%. My kids have lived, there are pros and cons with all things, right? But they've got to live in different continents and countries and cultures. And we've traveled a lot. Like they've been to Hawaii like 3 times. And my son, he was younger. He was like, I want to go back to our beach house. It's like, what beach house is he?
We own a beach house?
Where? I want to go too. Let's go. But he was talking about when we stayed in Hawaii at the hotel, but in his mind, that was where we lived.
Right.
And so when they got to Utah, for example, anybody who has ever been to Utah, it's very
Shelter.
Yeah, in a bubble. They were like, Mom, these people have only gone to like California or like Idaho. What is that? And I'm like, yeah, I know. They're like, I can't believe it. They don't have passports. They've never been on a plane. Like their mind was blown. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, but that's all they knew, right? You don't know what you don't know.
Most Americans don't have passports.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So she must be in Merida. She says today it's 83 and decent. The rest of the week it'll be 88 to 90 and humid.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm not trying to feel that. I am not trying to feel that. Okay. So y'all went to VFS to turn in your paperwork for Portugal. Ain't never been here. Ain't seen no parts of no Portugal.
Nope.
And how much Portuguese had you studied by this time?
I watched some videos, but I still didn't understand what they were saying.
What do we have? What was the app that we had on our phones?
I still have it on my phone.
I can't remember one of the language apps, and that's
Wasn't
when I realized.
Duolingo, was it?
No,
it was.
No, we did a little bit more research and understand that certain apps only did Brazilian Portuguese and the other ones did.
Which threw me through a loop, another loop. We're going to Japan. Yay, island. Snow. We're learning Portuguese. Which Portuguese? What do you mean? There's two?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I didn't realize that the Brazilians didn't speak the exact same language. I guess it's, somebody described it as like Scottish English and English.
Oh. And somebody told us like UK and the US is how they told us.
See, but I understand the UK people. I don't understand all Scots.
Oh, yeah. It's fine. But...
So, okay. So you went to VFS, sight unseen. And so where did you first move to when you came to Portugal?
Part of the VFS thing is you had to have one at the time. I don't know how much it's changed now, but at the time you had to have a 1-year lease where you were staying.
And you still do, folks. You still do.
So we got a 1-year lease, sight unseen. I mean, sure enough, we did get a realtor to kind of show us pictures and everything else, something that we thought would work for us. And we got there in April. We got to Faceta in the Algarve, which is kind of in between Faro and Tavera.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're going to visit during the holidays, not during the winter.
Because it's crazy busy in the winter, or what?
It is dead in the winter.
Yeah.
It's mainly a vacation tourist location. So they open up business and stuff, trying to get that money when tourists and stuff come through. But once that dries up,
they're gone. And then you have no services. Yes. Okay. So you moved to the Algarve. So the Algarve, y'all, is at the most southern part of Portugal.
Right.
And is a big vacation spot for Brits.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so how did you like it?
So once we decided Portugal was a place, then it was again weather. He likes the heat, which is why we chose the Algarve. And we had the kids, our little one who was still in school, our oldest was already graduated. So we were like, we got to find schooling. So you have to think about all these other aspects when you have little people with you. And so we ended up going we wanted Tavira, which is next to Spain. It's really close to the Spain border, but we were looking for certain accommodations, right? We need so many bedrooms. We need so many. So our house was fabulous. Again, the place was fabulous, but the location was, and we went and looked at it. And we had the realtor and pictures, and we actually got on, what is it? When you do the maps, you can walk through the city, you can like.
Like
every location that we got, I went through Google Maps. I tried to look through, and I went through the virtual walkthrough. If you walk down this street, that looks like a restaurant over there. That's for someplace for us to eat. That looks like a park area. So I tried to triangulate everything through Google Maps, and
still no.
It's not quite the same being in person.
No.
Tell us more.
Yeah.
The distances are a bit different. On Google Maps, I was clicking a couple of times, and I'm like, okay, so that's probably about 5-10 minutes to get to here. No, I'm clicking faster than my feet will move.
So yeah, I mean, I did the same thing, and I knew that we had a really steep hill to get to the metro. I didn't tell him. Look,
She didn't.
everybody had. Look,
You see how
he
they
had
do
the address. He had the address. He could Google Walk,
You did the
Google
same.
Earth
That
Walk,
ain't, that ain't right.
right? But see, I knew he was going to be complaining and all this and that before we even got here, right? So I'm not trying to hear all that. I'm not trying to hear all that. Shoot.
What did you do when
As-
you seen it? What did you do when you seen that hill? Was he like, what the?
Yeah, I was.
I don't know if we can renew this lease.
but it was like the first time I walked it was
Right.
like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if this gonna work because I don't know
True.
how long my knees gonna last in this, walking up these hills and ain't no other way. And you didn't know the bus system.
Right.
There's a bus stop right across the street. I
Right.
didn't know that, so I figured I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm gonna have to figure this out. And after maybe a month of doing it,
Yeah.
it didn't bother me anymore.
No.
First we walked up the stairs.
No, after about 3 or 4 months, because after a month, he was still talking about we ain't renewing this lease and blah, blah, whoop-de-woo. And I was like, okay, you can find the next apartment. Because I went through the stress of trying to find an apartment when you're not in country.
Yeah.
And we only had a week until our VFS appointment. Oh, shoot, I'm through. Look, all
Much
the
time.
organizing it took to get here, I did
know.
it. So
I
now if you want to move, it's on you,
It's
baby.
on you.
Find it. Find it.
I got used to the hills.
You got
I do.
how convenient.
Right? Plus, I mean, we had a totally furnished apartment with televisions and everything.
Right.
Yeah, the apartment was cool.
How can you like we got to walk up the stairs. We have no lift. We have no elevator. And so if a person is expecting to recreate their American life abroad, they will have their feelings
You're gonna
hurt.
get your feelings hurt, yeah.
Very much.
They will have their feelings hurt. And why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
Right?
Because consistency is comfort.
Exactly. So, all right. So why did you move from the Algarve further north?
Honestly, well, I had my self appointment. Up there by Porto, and on the way, I missed my train connection. So I missed my train connection at the Orient, and so I ended up being stuck there for 3 hours waiting for the next train. So kind of I was like, well, it's 3 hours. I might as well walk around instead of just sitting here and looking like a lost soul. So when I walked around, I seen other people of our complexion and other things happening and more activity happening up here than where we were at. And I immediately knew it. And I called her, video called her. I was like, you're really going to like this area. You're really going to.
So, well, yeah. And so for those of you who do not know where the Orient Station is in the most modern part of Lisbon. So they were in an area called Parque das Nações. That is where the Orient train station is. And so you walk out of there and you see all of this beautiful artwork that, art installations. The river view is right there. And the river walk. And then the buildings are ultra, ultra modern and cool looking. It's flat. But look, I don't get attached to the flat because I can just see myself getting into worse shape right now. Like, give me these hills. I need my gym, my outdoor gym. So it's interesting. You said you saw more Black folks.
Oh yeah.
Or you just saw more brown folks. Or both.
Both, really. I mean, where we're at, you're not really seeing much. Down in
the Algarve.
Yeah, where we were particular. We weren't in the super touristy area.
So just being here and seeing more color, period, Black, brown, it was joyful, because then you have more of that innate connection already. So
Yeah.
Look, yeah. It was but yeah, the all the Algarve. It's like people say, why did you move? I said, it's like, what do you want? Here we go, right? What do you want? What are you looking for? If you are very much chill, you want to just sit by the beach and just, melt in the sun all day, it's probably your place to be. But again, we had younger kids. So, it's a lot of older people that did. It's the summer, it would pick up a little bit, but that's what, 3 months out of the year. That's not. But then the rest of the time it's just dead. Grocery stores are far. Everything was just very much. There was no variety. Everything is. You can have Portuguese, or you can have Portuguese, and you can have a side of Portuguese. So it was. I was probably there. What, 4 months in? I was like, I think I'm depressed. I think I'm sad. And it was like you were saying, and you plan and you're excited. And we have traveled before, right? We've lived in all kinds of different places. And so, there's going to be an adjustment. But I was like, you don't want to judge it too early, because it's like, I got to get acclimated. And like you were saying about, if you come with the same expectations, your Americanized mind, your feelings would be hurt. Because I thought, a dryer, because we had a little one who still would have accidents. So sheets and bed washing, like all these things. I'm like, we need a dryer. We didn't have a dryer. And I'm like, wait, that was one of my non-negotiables. So we out there with our, hanging them out on the line. But Algarve is a lot hotter, so it's fine. We acclimated, but it was tough. And then I tore my meniscus. So that was even better. So I had
What's a meniscus?
You're in your knee.
The ring.
Okay.
Knee with all those little bitty bones that go around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ow.
So I was like, oh no, this is not ideal. This is not what I thought Portugal was being. So like you were saying, what happens if you don't like it and you spent all this money and time and resources and now you're sitting here like, now what do we do? And you keep saying, let me give it some time. Let me give it some time. Like Rick going up the hill. Let me give it some time before I know if I want to.
Yeah, I honestly
the little engine that could.
I honestly thought want to be ending up cutting that lease short, because like in Portugal, everything is a third of
at least with leases.
So I was thinking we were going to end up cutting it short, because she was really
struggling
down there.
It's a struggle. You make the best of it, right? Because it's not all bad, right? There's always duality, but
of course,
it was just not. So once he came up for his appointment, I was like, well, we're going to come up to Lisbon anyway, right? Because we're new. So let's see the city. You got to go to the city. And then we came up in November.
Yeah, about November time.
About November. And then I was like,
this will be it.
This was the feeling that I was hoping for when I came back to Europe. Yeah. Yeah.
So you said more brown people, more variety with food. What else, and this is the reason why I'm asking these questions, folks, is because I don't think that we take the time to think about what our lifestyle is and what we like. We take a lot of things for granted, and then we just do what we do, right? And I thought that the Algarve would have been perfect for me back in the day.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be sitting on the beach every day,
on the beach, right?
And all of that. And it's like, no. And I didn't realize that until I traveled, right?
Yes.
And then I noticed, okay, you like doing this other thing more than you like doing that.
Yeah.
But you want to say, D?
Well, I was going to say one of the other things is she likes to see pretty things. She does. So
what's pretty
besides her own face in the mirror?
Oh.
No, that is gorgeous.
No, my. Okay. Thanks.
Good answer, hubby. Good answer.
But she does. She likes seeing the pretty things. So like even the different artworks or going to seeing different stuff in the stores and whatnot, where we were at. Now let me correct this, because I seen somebody say something earlier. Algarve is a big area. So there's different areas and there'll be different varieties. Where we were at in the Algarve did not fit for us.
Because we visited Albufeira
Mhm.
and Lagos, and we went to other parts, which were a little bit better,
Mhm.
but the vibe, the energy there was just not it.
It's the vibe there is more of a almost humble, almost country feeling, like a small country town. It reminds me,
Country beach town.
yes.
Yes.
So, which wasn't exactly the best feel for my family. So, but Lisbon had more activities, more things for everybody
Yes.
to entertain themselves with and to
Right.
enjoy. So,
Right.
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there's gonna be a big concert, it's gonna be in Lisbon.
Exactly.
Some of the biggest museums are going to be
Yes.
here in Lisbon. Of course, there's
Right.
there's museums in every city
Of
that
course.
we've visited here. However, you're going to find more variety. You're going to find the bigger installations, the bigger artists probably showing their stuff in Lisbon.
Yes.
And again, you got to think about what you like to do and what your lifestyle is like, right? And I like the variety of foods.
Yes.
I like to people watch.
Yes.
I can sit at that cafe and just watch people for hours. I love going to the park and watching the kids play and just, if Rick, I've got like 15,000 pictures of Rick standing in front of our balcony door, just looking at the kids playing in the park below,
They crack me up.
Yeah.
Because they're little toddlers and they all move the same.
They do.
They're everything is the same. It's like no matter what.
It's true.
No matter where you're
They're
at,
just entertaining.
they got that drunk walk.
They got the drunk walk, the drunk run. They already fall down because their head's too big and heavy.
Oh, true.
I just crack up.
It's so true.
But what drives me crazy is sometimes these parents, it's like they're climbing up to get to the top of the slide, and it's like, I'm like, watch your kid. Stop. Don't go around yet. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me so nervous.
I can't watch it. No, I can't watch it. Mm-mm.
Okay. So Laura asks, how in the world would Portugal know if you were there or not, if you wanted to move there? Huh?
Oh, how did I know?
Oh, if you came over, if you have never visited before, how would they know? I'm thinking.
For me, the people that I heard stuff from was people that I highly respected the words that they use, not just running at the mouth. They actually, so those were people that I took for their word and I really believed. And that's why I say it stayed in me for so long was, Portugal is a really great place to be because these people said that it was.
Right.
And
people whose opinion you respect.
Yes. And then she did her research and because we both looked at it, we both agreed and pulled the trigger, let's do it. So.
Well, it was Spain for me. It was Spain.
It was right there, but it was just easier to integrate into Portugal than to Spain. And that's why Portugal ended up winning. I mean, they were like, deep, 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 deep.
Mm-hmm.
And we're finally pushed it over with the integration.
Yeah, the process or the tax scheme was better back then. The years to citizenship is better, But I think, I think one of the things that, hey, Penny, one of the things that is that I see now that I did not see before is I did not find the same kindness from the Spanish people that we see here from Portuguese folks.
Right.
And what part of Spain?
Madrid, Barcelona, Girona.
I hear that.
Haven't been to southern Spain.
Right.
But
I hear that.
And people are north, and in Catalonia, they got all that issue of trying to secede or whatever the heck they're doing that I don't 100% understand. But and so that's a whole different language
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And but by and large, like the people of Portugal are just kinder.
Yeah.
They really are, and they will go out of their way to help you.
You
Um,
know, when we first got here, my parents actually met us here. So they actually got in a couple days before we landed in Portugal. They were in Lisbon and they came down to visit us in Algarve. And one of the first things I noticed was Portugal felt very racially neutral. And I was trying to explain to my dad, and my dad goes, "Yes, I get that. It's very like, it's the only place I've been where I literally didn't feel like my skin color mattered one way or the other. It was like female, like, you know, it was just very much." And I tell people when you go outside of the US in general, I'm like, I'm American first outside of America. I'm American first. Then you can start breaking down all these subcategories.
Not American in America. That's for doggone sure. You know, we still trying to fight for the permanent right to vote.
Right.
So yeah, I'm more American outside of America than I ever was or felt
Ever.
in America. You know,
Right.
my home country does not love me. It does
No.
not love me.
They don't.
It lets me know
Absolutely.
on a regular basis. It could
Repeat.
not care less
Fact.
about Black women,
Period.
Black men.
Yeah.
So Valerie asked, "Does your rent fluctuate month to month?" I'm
No.
assuming you meant month to month. No, we're in leases, and they, here in Portugal, they like their leases. Okay, they will try to convince you to do a 10-year lease. Some folks.
Yeah.
Fluctuate. Okay, that's the same question. So yeah,
You know,
and that's what she wants to ask because of the exchange rate
Okay.
from US dollars to euros. So technically, yes.
That's fair.
Yeah, if you're looking at it versus the US dollars, yes, it's going to be the difference. But then when you're looking at your rent and stuff overall, you don't want to top out everything when you're looking at your budget to try to plan to live any place, because there's going to be so many different changes that you don't expect. So
right.
when you're looking at your money and you're looking at how much you're willing to spend, don't top them at the same level. You know, have some breathing room, have a chance for stuff to happen,
Now,
good or bad.
we know that from experience when we were in Japan.
See,
That was a mess. It was a
see.
mess. The yen rate went to trash. I mean, trash. So what used to be like, what, $2-3 per 1 yen was like
Oh,
under, like it was bad. So I think
And-
our cheap utility was like $300.
Oh my
What?
gosh.
Yeah, it was.
And it can do that here too, folks. And you do have to plan accordingly. So, so Valerie, one of the things, if you look back like 2012, 2010, 2012, it was like 60, 70 cents to the euro.
Okay.
I mean, ouch.
Yeah.
30%. I just lost 30% of my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's one of the reasons, like, so we do one-on-one calls with folks to answer these kinds of questions, and we charge in euro. And people wonder why, because we pay our bills in euro.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, so Valerie, why it doesn't feel to me like our rent fluctuates is because we move big chunks of money at a time.
Mhm.
At when the exchange
Exchange
rate
rate is favorable.
looks lovely,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, let me move some money. So we pay our landlord out of our Portuguese account.
Right.
Unlike some folks who you may follow in Mexico who don't have Mexican bank accounts. Sorry about that, folks, who don't have Mexican bank accounts. And so they feel that exchange rate a lot more if they're not moving big chunks, because once you move it, it's euros.
yeah.
Right.
You have that one transaction.
Right.
And the euros are the euros. And so I know how much euros are in our account and how much our rent is. I mean, we pay $13.25 per month, which is about $1,400 per month.
Don't tell nobody.
So
She's bragging. Do you know what? Our home in the Algarve was fully furnished. So that made it a lot softer of a landing. Bedding,
Yes.
towels, sheet, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Ours was not that furnished. There was a couple of sheets. It was
Yeah.
like, okay, this will last you till tonight, and then tomorrow
Right.
you better get up and get to continent.
Oh,
But we
yeah.
brought sheets
We
with
brought
us.
sheets. Yeah.
We
You
brought
did.
sheets with us. Yeah, because
we did.
I
did.
like the sheets I like.
Yeah, I know.
And I haven't found them here yet. Even
I'm
at
still looking.
right,
Still.
even at
Corte Inglés.
yeah, El Corte Inglés, I did not.
Yeah.
Though not at a price that I'm willing to pay.
Okay, because I was like, they got all kind of sheets.
They do.
$300 for a flat sheet.
Right? Like I go to overstock.com and I get that 1,000 count on
Right.
clearance because this color is not in fashion anymore or something, whatever.
Right.
I'd rather have the
Right.
thread count than the color.
True.
Right?
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So
But this house we moved to in Lisbon had nothing. We went again, one extremes is always it's always 180.
Right.
Like,
yeah, and most people have rented unfurnished apartments.
mhm.
A good portion have rented unfurnished apartments. Some by choice. They don't want to be on other people's furniture. Some people are real funny about stuff like that.
No, it's true.
Yeah. Well, unfurnished, there's differences in unfurnished. Like when we got this apartment, I'm expecting for there to be light fixtures.
There's no light fixtures.
I had to put them all up.
Okay.
Like wires
Yeah.
hanging out of the wall. No fridge.
We were shown
no
one like
dishwasher,
that.
No washing machine. No light fixture. I mean, I said, are we building? Wait, are we building a house? What's
Right.
going on?
So, I mean, can I do it? Do I know how? Yes. So it wasn't that.
That's not the point. So when we were this is the thing, y'all. You cannot expect things to run the same way in other countries as you are used to. So
Mhm.
in Mexico, as in here in Portugal, there are equipped kitchens and unequipped kitchens. And an unequipped kitchen, you might have a hole where the stove goes.
Right.
And a hole where the oven goes.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, people are kind of used to the dishwasher hole, especially if you're moving into a new house,
Right.
not an apartment though. Right. But these are houses because these are not corporately owned apartments. Like
Right.
in America, we're used to, Ajax company builds apartment buildings,
Right.
and they're gonna build large apartment buildings. You're gonna go over to the rental office, fill out an
Right.
application, and they say, okay, well, we got 3 people gave notice January 1st, you can move in January 2nd, whatever, right?
Right.
That's not a thing here.
Mm-mm.
I only know one person who has that kind of an apartment. By and large, you are renting a condo, what we understand as a condo, right? Or a
Right.
co-op if you lived in New York or something, right? Like these are
Mhm.
individually owned, or maybe an investor owns 2, 3, 4 of them, but there's no rental office or any of that
No.
stuff. So look, the sky is the limit on what you're going to find. And I remember when we got video walked around,
video walked,
Jesse, I'm
yeah.
going to answer your question in a minute, but we got video walked.
And I'm looking at the video, but I'm not noticing indoor light. I see light coming in, and I'm like,
Right.
and I asked him, I said, well, show me around, show me the ceilings, because I see sunlight. I don't see indoor,
Right.
light. And sure enough, looked up at the ceiling, there were wires hanging out. I was like, well, where's the fixture? No
Yep.
fixtures, nowhere.
Non-equipped kitchen.
Non-equipped.
Yeah.
And then he wanted 1 year's worth
No.
of rent in
Absolutely
advance. I said, okay, first of all, that's against the law. That's number one.
That's
But I didn't know that at the time.
okay.
So I was like, okay, so there's no dishwasher.
Jeez.
There's a sink. There's no oven. There's no stove. There's no washing machine.
Right.
Not that a washing machine should be standard, but it kind of is.
Right.
And there are no light fixture. You've got wires hanging out of the ceiling, and you want me to give you, let's just say it was 2,000 times 12, like $24,000. You want $24,000 for a box
A box.
with some wires hanging out?
Literally.
And you call this 2 bedrooms, but the second bedroom is actually like a sitting room off the master bedroom without a separate entrance.
Right.
Right.
and without an outside window.
No.
The
I know.
window was just bringing you light from the other room, right? So that means no guests. And I said, so the owner is asking for a whole year in advance?
Insane.
You know what he said? He said, no, but I think because you guys are foreigners, that's what I'm asking for.
Yeah, it wasn't the
Oh,
owner. It was
he
the
told you.
realtor. Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, why didn't you just say you didn't want to rent to us?
Right. Just say
Because what's not going to happen is me putting in light fixtures, and then what? You take the light fixtures with you?
I know. I know.
And then you got to take your dishwasher and all that. No.
That's what I'm
not
thinking
trying to
about.
do
I'm
all
already
that.
thinking about that because the things I bought for this place, I bought for this place. The layout, the size. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
What size is the door open on? I mean,
Yeah.
in California, we were used to buying refrigerators and moving your
Yes.
refrigerator, but that's about it.
Yes.
So, right. So Jazzy D, it's SEF appointment.
Yeah, I was wondering what she meant.
And SEF no longer exists. Now it's IMA, AIMA.
Yeah.
So that was their immigration and customs office. And now they've split up immigration from customs is what I understand.
Yeah.
What a treat.
I tell my husband, don't be that American.
It's a real thing. You're American showing.
Right. So it's interesting. So Killer Queen was saying, I've been to all of the towns in the Algarve, and it's nothing like La Jolla. Like La Jolla doesn't close.
We haven't been to La Jolla yet.
Like she's talking about in San Diego, I'm thinking.
Yep. La Jolla does not close. What neighborhoods in Lisbon are we talking about where I can see people of color? All over, Valerie.
All
Yeah,
over.
you can.
All over. I mean, some places are browner than others. So if you're sticking to like the Marqués Pombal, Eduardo Park area, not so much because it's more expensive over there. In our neighborhood, there's a lot of brown folks and black folks. And we're, further north in Pineda Franca. Well, I guess that's about, yeah. Because it's north of Marqués Pombal. Where do you guys live?
Yeah, we're over by Camp Lee. We're like 10-minute walk from Eduardo Park.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're up, but a little northwest of there, if I remember the map correctly.
Yeah, and I walk all over Lisbon, and I mean, it's of course more and more it's going to congregate in different areas, but no matter where I'm going in Lisbon, I'm always still seeing.
Always.
Yeah.
Parque das Nações, the neighborhood just north of there is all black. So that mall has a lot of black folks. Always see black folks over there in Parque das Nações. Amadora has a lot more black folks. On the other side of the river, there's a lot more black folks. But we're everywhere, Valerie. Just if you're sticking to the tourist areas, you're seeing tourists.
Right.
You're not seeing Portuguese people by and large, and you might be seeing Portuguese tourists too, right? Because they take vacations within their own country as well, right? So down in the tourist areas, you're going to see tourists, and it could be Portuguese tourists or out of town tourists or out of country tourists, but it's tourists.
Right.
I'm caught between the Algarve and Lisbon areas. There's a lot of big music festivals around Portimao. Yeah. In the summer.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer.
Yeah, that's the key. Yes. What happens after 3 months is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if if you're asking us a question, it helps if you put a Q in front of it. Now, Cascais reminds me more of La Jolla.
Yeah.
Because it's still city-ish. It's the suburbs of Lisbon, right? And but still, you still don't have the variety of restaurants and stuff like that you do up here. And the people that we know who live down in Estoril or Cascais, they're like that's the one thing that they miss.
Yeah.
So see, Mike said,
what are you looking for? Maybe they're big surfers, or maybe they like to, it's like
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's all in, there, one of the ladies who spoke at our Move to Portugal virtual summit. That's right. If you want to move to Portugal, number one, we're doing a Move to Portugal virtual summit in 2024, this coming November. But you can buy the replays from last year. They are available. All of that information is in the description below. If you want to get in on the early bird pricing for the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit next year, you might want to get on that waiting list, because it's not going to be for a certain amount of time. It's going to be a certain amount of tickets. So it'll be first come, first serve who get the discount tickets. So you might want to go ahead and fill that form out. And so Mike says he was in Lisbon's airport and thought he was in Newark, New Jersey. Because there's so many
People
many. When I went to Amadora, I was like, am I in Detroit? No, I'm in Mississippi. No, this is Africa. What is going on right now? It was surreal. All the hair shops, barber shops. I mean, it's wild.
And again, that neighborhood that is just north of Parque das Nações, I can't remember the name of it right now, is majority Black.
Yeah.
Majority Black. So I see more Black folks in per capita in Vasco da Gama Mall than I do in Colombo Mall.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
We don't know what that feels like, Jess, until you get out the States.
It's
right?
true.
Portugal offers dual citizenship. Yes, there are many great organizations to help people acclimate to Portugal. Yep. Our Black Utopia, Blacks at Global, Portugal the Place, attorney Pinto, Gomes Pinto. Yes, she's lovely. And she will be, so anybody who is coming to the meetup, she's going to come early. She's going to come at 5:00. If you've got questions that you want to ask an immigration specialist, she's going to be there at 5:00, and I will send out another reminder in the group chat. But yeah, so she's great, people.
Yes, she is. She truly is.
Right. Do you think it's advantageous to move to a tax-friendly state? Yep.
Yeah.
Before moving abroad.
Yeah.
Where do you two have residence in America?
Utah
still.
actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So Utah
Yeah.
still. I'm naturally Texas, so I still kind of had Texas, but yeah, we came out of Utah, so still taxed by Utah. So, but you also got to look at, because different states needs different time frames. Because I think Texas is 6 months, Texas, and I think Florida is 6 months of the bill to show your tax move over, compared to other places was like a year.
And some places you just have to register to vote and get a
Yeah.
driver's license and call it a day.
I vote Florida. I text Utah. His license, he votes Texas. Tell me you're a military family without telling me you're a military family.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, TW, you should do your Googles and see what the requirements are
States.
now, as early as possible, so you're not caught off guard.
Yeah.
But yeah, every state is different, and there's just I just knew I didn't want to be taxed by California. That's what I knew.
No.
Like I love the fact that, when I moved my dad back to California, he got all of these benefits that weren't available in Colorado, but those benefits come at a cost.
They absolutely.
That's what people don't realize. They want low taxes and the benefits, and the two do not go hand in hand.
Paying for the benefits.
Yeah.
Right? So thank you, Pathway to Wellness. We appreciate it. All right. Okay, so we did answer this question. And I would say more like La Jolla, not Santa Barbara. Because Santa Barbara, to me, is more like the Algarve. It's small. And it's not like really close to a big city.
Mm-mm.
And even they might call it a city. Santa Barbara ain't no city.
Right.
It's a town.
Mm-hmm.
Is a town, and it's far from LA. It's far from the Bay Area. So even, so I would say the Algarve is more like Santa Barbara, and Cascais is more like La Jolla.
And it's true. Every place has its own vibe, its own energy, its own, And you don't know until you get in it.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it's,
have to get in
which vibe is going to match you?
it.
Because
Yeah.
you're looking for something specific. Well,
Yep.
not necessarily. You look for something to match your vibe.
Exactly. So, surprised at seeing rental apartments in LA with no stoves or refrigerators. Yep, in the late 90s. Yep. That's why Rick was like, well, maybe we should buy a refrigerator for the condo. I'm like, nope. We'll wait and see what they say. So Killer Queen says it's also the Beverly Hills Malibu of Portugal.
What is Cascais?
I'm assuming you mean
Cascais.
Cascais. You can find good deals in Cascais, Killer Queen. You really can. You just have to be patient. Locals find good deals.
Oh.
And they're apartments that we would be willing to live in too, because we know people who live down there. So, but again, once you set your budget, you just got to stick to it, and you got to be patient.
Patient Portugal. They should just start calling it Patient Portugal.
Yes, you need to be patient in Portugal. They're patient, except for when they get behind that wheel.
All the aggression comes out.
It ain't no joke.
And no joke. All right. The wires where a light fixture would normally be is wild. Pinky, we trying to tell you. I've seen a lot of places like that, many with no kitchen appliances and some with no fully enclosed shower.
Yeah.
Only the shower pan. Yep.
We
saw
looked
that
at one like that. It's like, okay, what's going to stop the water?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No shower curtain, no shower. Couldn't even figure out where to put it.
Yes.
And you want how much money?
Yeah.
So smoking what drugs?
I know.
Because wasn't that one it shared the bedroom or something? You had the open shower right there, and then you had to set a bed up, and it was crazy.
Oh my
I don't know. Like some of these folks have gotten greedy.
It's true.
They've taken smaller apartments that are meant to be what they're meant to be and tried to make them into, dividing these rooms and this and that, and calling it a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and all of this. And they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. And then they want, $3,000 a month for rent. And it's like, first of all, Portuguese folks, the average Portuguese person can't afford this.
I know.
So
you know who they're marketing to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not paying above market. I'm not paying that doesn't help other folks.
Right.
So, all right. Ty says, what might be some of the reasons people may not like Portugal besides cooler weather and language barrier? It sounds like a good balance of everything to me.
Well, it's all about what you're looking for, what you're trying to match. Because it's a great balance for me. It's a great balance for her. It's a great balance for a lot of us. But what are you specifically looking for? Like she mentioned earlier, unless you like surfing. Well, Lisbon might not be the best place for surfing. You might want to go up
Across
to
the water.
Further north, yeah.
Yeah. Or on the other side of the river.
Yeah.
It's a matter of what are you looking to match?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you need efficiency at every turn, Portugal's not the place. If you need everything to look pristine, like it does in some American cities, with no graffiti and all of that, Europe may not be the place.
Right.
If you expect a dryer and a bathtub to be standard, Europe may not be the place.
Unless you're willing to put out more money. I mean, like there's always an option, right?
Yeah.
Like how much are you wanting? You can find
but
it.
it's standard in the
Right.
States. That's standard, right? Like if it's gonna have a washer, it's gonna have a dryer.
Of course.
If you want central heating and all that stuff.
If you need central air and heat, Europe may not be the place.
It's true.
If you want to have a car and someplace to park it for free, Europe may not be the place.
Right.
If you don't want eggs on your steak, no.
And in Japan, everything comes with corn. Corn is on everything. Pizzas, like sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. And you get it.
I like corn.
No, it was good, but it was different. You get it. You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So they grow corn in Japan
I guess. I don't know if they grow
because
it.
it's hard to find here in Portugal.
It is.
Mhm.
It's hard to find. I only find corn on the cob at the mom and pop fruitarias. I never see them
yeah.
in the normal grocery stores. I mean, in the
Right.
chain
That's such a
grocery
good
stores,
point.
right?
Hmm.
Oh.
So, what is the vibe and cost of Parque das Nações?
The vibe is cool. You know,
Mhm.
It's local. You're not going to get a lot of tourists up
No.
there.
Yeah.
They come to the ocean area and then they go home. The pricing on the restaurants, for the most part, is Portuguese pricing. I've seen some restaurants like, okay, who are you catering to?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like we said, very modern, flat.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you have to realize you're still just 3 or 4 stops from the city center.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, Portugal, the country of Portugal is just not that big. And Lisbon geographically is very, very small.
Right.
It's a lot packed into a small amount of space.
Right.
So yeah.
Very dense. Very dense.
Yep. Black Sick Global, I have my name on the wait list for Nomad Noir 2025. Our Black Utopia, my name is on the wait list for the next Online Move to Portugal Summit and the next Exodus Summit. She's not playing. She's not playing. So good, Anya. So for those of you who don't know, our business partner and friend Krishan does I don't know what you call it, but she's got everybody, Nomad Noirs, she's got a house. People are coming to stay. She's going to expose you to all of the professionals that can help you move. And so that's what Nomad Noir is. If you are interested, she was on the channel last week, and the link is in that description from last week. If you're watching from the future, hey, you'll find it. Just look for Krishan's face.
Yeah.
Just look for the Krishan's face. You have Rock in Rio at Parque das Nações running up the next weekend. Oh,
Different events.
And Santos Populares. Y'all, June is the time. We had so much fun.
So many different events happening this month.
Exactly.
I mean, Lisbon always has events, but this is their party month.
Yes.
Yeah.
So St. Anthony's, the Lisbon proper St. Anthony, like Bica area, that was Wednesday. But there's still some freguesias, I think, that are still celebrating with street festivals. I know Arroyos was, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. They're still celebrating. So, you know, the street
music. I can still hear music.
Mm-hmm.
So they still celebrating.
See, yep, exactly. And I know like Graça ends today, June 16th. Yeah. So, oh, this is a good question. How did you guys go about finding a school for your kiddo? Are you happy with it? Is it public, private, or international?
Yeah. So the little one is back in the States, actually. So we're almost empty nesters. Woo! But he's back in the States. But initially, we did look at international. But a lot of the curriculum, and it depends on the age too, because that's a big determining factor. We ended up going with the public school because he was starting out and he was young. And they had other kids there that were like from the UK, but they were going to learn Portuguese that much quicker, being immersed, and they're young. So I was like, oh no, he doesn't know. Let's get him in early. So that's what we ended up going with, and he did well. Don't you think he did? Because like the teachers, they knew both, and he'd come back and he's like, I know Portuguese. It's like, no, you don't. But
in his mind, he did.
In his mind, he did. So, all right, say something. He's like, that's not how you say it. So,
that's not how you say it, mama.
Yeah. But with international schools, a lot of them are like British curriculum. And then it's like, what do your kids do in the States? I homeschooled in the States too. So I don't really necessarily believe in a lot of the British curriculum. So that's a whole nother. It's a whole nother.
There's that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, true. So are you guys going to bring him back, or did you decide that it's better for him in the States?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he's
hanging out with granddad.
granddad, yeah.
Yeah. They're like,
His
Okay.
BFF right now.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Allison says, this is why I'm moving my stuff. I've already priced storage containers. I'm not playing.
Okay, but if you're
Do you mean
storing it,
shipping
what you do-
containers or storage? Exactly. Are you talking about
Yeah.
a shipping container or a storage container? And like, okay, so we know a family that brought their furniture.
Wow. They did. How many crates was that?
I don't know. It's not here yet, but they're going to put it in storage.
Yeah.
They're going to put a good portion of it in storage because it's not going to fit.
Nope.
It's like, what?
Your
Do they already
American
have a place?
furniture will not fit.
They have a place here.
Yeah, that's
So I'm what? Why'd you move all that stuff?
And who do
Did they
you sell
love
it
it?
to if
They
you
must
have
have
to sell
loved
it?
it.
I don't know.
Who
I
do
don't
you sell it to if you got to sell it?
Yeah. Yeah, because unless that, well, if they've got a single family house, there are single
Well,
family
yeah,
houses,
yeah, but
Right.
but you're not
that's
going to sell it in Lisbon. There
No.
there are very few single family houses in Lisbon proper.
Right.
But as you go out, of the city a little bit, and I've seen single family houses here. I can't even imagine how much those things cost. So
Look.
we have not been to Nazaré in the wintertime. Definitely on our list, Darla.
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely
the
on
big
our list.
waves.
Yeah. Have y'all been to Nazaré?
Uh-uh.
No, I've heard about it. I've had some people that I shoot with that's going up for some of the big waves, but
Archery.
Oh, archery, not guns.
Look.
Yes,
I knew what you were talking about.
that they've gone for a couple of big events here a few months back, but I haven't gone yet. No.
Are you all going to take a surfing lesson?
Surfing lesson? No. I don't play in anybody's water.
Kendall
Watch and see what they're doing.
Kendall
but-
did a surfing lesson. I want to do a
He
surfing
did
lesson.
it. Kendall's
Dude.
doing every lesson. Kendall's learning how to play pickleball. Now he's got me interested in wanting to learn how pickleball.
Really? Pickleball's
Yeah.
huge in Utah. It's not really my
Is
cup
it?
of tea. Yeah.
For the small place that it is, Santa Barbara, it has a decent international population living there. Some come as tourists or students to the university. Yeah, the University of Santa Barbara. Yeah. I mean, but that's California.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's California. It's still just entirely too small for me. Like, I would go crazy. The beaches are beautiful. That used to be my escape place. I just drive up the coast from LA. But I couldn't live there.
Mm-mm.
Nah. Have any of you shopped at Mercado Municipal de Benfica for produce, meats, or fish? So those Mercados, LLO, are everywhere. So there's no point in going all the way to Benfica when we've got one just down the street. Most freguesias have their own
Yeah.
kind of farmers market, and they're open, I guess, Monday through Saturday from like 8 a.m. I don't know, sometime when I'm not awake until 2 p.m. until 2 p.m. And then usually they have restaurants around the outer edges.
Right.
So I don't know if all the restaurants are farm to table or what have
Right.
you. The food here is so fresh that you kind of don't have
Exactly.
to worry about that.
Yeah.
Right.
So, do expats often move around to different Lisbon neighborhoods before settling in? Oh, good question.
Some do.
Yeah, I actually think that's a good idea. I mean, because even if you come as a tourist, you're a tourist in a certain area, unless you specifically say, okay, I'm going to be in this area for a little while. I'm going to go to this area for a little while. And a little while is what? 2 or 3 days. You're not going to really see what's happening in that area.
No.
If you're in the area for a couple of weeks, you're going to have a good feel for what kind of happens on a day-to-day in that area.
We did a scouting trip for a month.
Yeah.
And we were on the other side of the river and in Casillas. And we would come to Lisbon a few times per week.
Yeah.
3 to 4 times per week or something. We get on the ferry, something like that.
Really?
And still, we barely scratched the surface in a month.
It's true.
In a month. So we didn't even know. We knew about this neighborhood. We didn't know what it was called.
Right.
We got lost at the bottom of the hill where we catch the metro. We got lost over there trying to get to Saldana.
Yeah.
And then it was hot, and then these hills.
I know.
I was getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And so I was looking up and I was like, how did they even get up there? You know?
Like, I need a lift. What's going on?
Right? It looked like they were all the apartments were on the side of the mountain. So and now we live where we were looking.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So and so Jazzy, I know some people who have done that, and then I know some people who haven't. And I think it just all depends on what you're looking for. And if you find it, because the move is so big that sometimes you don't think about all of the little details.
You can't. Yeah.
And if you're picking your apartment while you're in America or wherever your home country is,
right?
Like, we used Rossini, as y'all know. He walked around the neighborhood for us, just in the general area. So I saw, he video walked us like live call around the neighborhood. He's like, see right there, that red sign, there's your grocery store. It's right there. Oh, there's some fruiterias, cafes right across the street. We knew about the park. And then he went and asked some locals where the nearest metro station was.
Yeah.
And so we got video walked around, but we had to pay for that.
So not Google Maps.
I did that too. But I couldn't ask questions of locals. Plus, you got to look at when those pictures were taken on Google Earth and Google Maps.
Yes.
Sometimes they were like before the pandemic. Some of them were during the pandemic. So there were places closed, and and so the neighborhood does not look like it did, during the pandemic.
See, and the hills and stairs don't look as steep as they are.
It's true.
Until you standing at the bottom of it.
So you're looking up.
And it's like, damn.
I knew that hill was going to be a beast.
It didn't look bad on the thing because that's just a little. But she didn't show me the whole thing.
She changed the camera angle on you,
and there was like 2 of them you had to climb, and the last one was the one. Okay, 3.
Oh no,
there's 3.
I said she's trying to collect insurance. She's trying to kill me.
That's what's going on here.
But one of the hills is not that steep, and it's short. Right. So like after
that one's short. And I did find out that I could catch a bus from down there too.
Yeah, I try not to do that.
But I don't want to wait for the bus. So it's like I might as well, by the time this bus gets here, I'll be
up the hill. Yeah.
Exactly. And we did that. We had to do that after Friday Sangria. We walked home. Was that?
We didn't have to.
We didn't. The bus was late. No, was it that?
Oh, it didn't come. It switched. They switched buses.
Yes, something happened. So we ended up walking.
And it was like, okay, well,
here we go.
Yep. Okay, and we saw that. We homeschool now and have for years. Our kiddos are 9, 7, 2, and 2 and 3 months. Yeah, Holly. So I was wondering when y'all's gonna move here. We are thinking of going public for language immersion things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Holly, we also had people at the summit talking about how they found their schools, about the schools here, et cetera, et cetera. And they've got younger ones like you as well.
Yeah. Joseph was one of the guys in the men's talk that was talking about he has younger kids.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought I deleted that first comment about Sandra. Okay. What hiccup did you encounter with your visa process?
Yeah.
What would you do differently?
Well,
all right, thanks for coming.
Throughout the visa process, I came over on the D7 visa. When I initially contacted the BFS, they told me that it'll be easier for me to do the D7 visa since I'm the sole breadwinner, and then to get my family under family unification. That is still in the process. I have my visa. I have my residency card. It's been
over 2 years.
Over 2 years since they've had family unification appointment for my wife. They have now family unification appointments available if you have a child between 5 years and 15 years old. We're not in that category. So I would strongly encourage anybody that is making the move over here to do a separate visa for each member.
Yes.
I know they say it's easier when you look at the paperwork and whatnot that's required for family unification. All that's easier, but they have to be availability.
Yeah,
So-
you have to be able to get an appointment so you can get it done. And the other thing that I would suggest is don't listen to the people at VFS. They are not immigration specialists.
they're third party.
They're administrators. They are administrators, and they don't like the person who did our VFS. He had never even been
He'd
here.
never been here.
Oh, wow.
He was asking us why Portugal.
He wasn't even looking like he wanted to ever be here. He's like, nope.
Wow.
So,
And you all went through San Francisco too, because we had to go through San Francisco,
Yeah.
Yep.
which is another dynamic.
Yeah.
all in and of itself.
Yes. Yes.
We didn't have the hiccups that we could have had because there were a lot of moving parts. And I was talking to people about this today because y'all know we were in Mexico. So we had to get our FBI report FedEx to our friend in LA.
Yeah.
And then he FedExed it to our hotel in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did you have something sent to your hotel? You did.
And then our immigration specialist was emailing the stuff to the Kinkos in the hotel who was making copies of all of the stuff.
Yeah.
And then we were just hoping that when we got there, everything was going to be there.
Right.
Because, we came in the day before, we were leaving
Yeah.
the next day. We had
Yeah.
an appointment at the top of the morning, and then we
Yeah.
were out. Because San Francisco is no joke with these prices. It's no joke. So and it's interesting because when we had Alex and Jerry on in our very, very, very early days, this is like when we had 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers. And I remember Alex saying, there are going to be hiccups.
I seen that one.
But once you're here for a minute,
Yeah.
you forget about them.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, it's so true. Like it was hell. It wasn't that bad because it was just him. But remember, we were a family of 4 when we first came over. So we thought it's going to be a lot easier. We have the little one jumping on flights because we had left the US. We were in Mexico too. So he had to leave Mexico. And it was like, oh, you just get it all set up and we'll just come under
Slide
the boat.
on in, yeah. Yeah, because I had to leave while we were in Mexico. I left from Mexico to San Francisco to do that appointment.
Mhm.
Then came back down to Mexico. We got our stuff together.
Flew to
Then
Portugal.
we moved here to Portugal.
Had to fly back down.
Yeah, about a month or so after being here in Portugal, I had to fly back to get my stamp in my passport. And then
But
fly
it doesn't
back.
have to be that way. People do it when they stay in their country and they get everything done in their home residence. We were just already.
We didn't follow the rule book.
Nor did we.
No, we
Because
didn't.
y'all was in Mexico. We were in Mexico. And he was like, we were like practicing
We were
doing
practicing.
our fingerprints and stuff. We had to do that ourselves.
So we had kind of forgotten when we were in Mexico. It's like the FBI report only lasts for 90 days.
Yep.
And you have to redo it. Well,
Yeah.
we were in Mexico. So the FBI was very helpful because you talked to an agent at the FBI. He said, oh, no, just do it yourself.
Wow.
He said, just get you some cards. Go down to.
No, he didn't say cards. He was
He said do it on paper.
we will
What?
email you a digital
A
copy
digital copy of what
of the card. And you
Oh,
can just do it on
You can
regular
just do it on
Xerox paper,
And we're like, huh?
regular copy paper.
It's like,
Wow.
So we said, well, we'll take the form he sent us on a PDF of it down to not Kinko's, what was it?
It was FedEx Kinko's.
Was it FedEx Kinko's?
It was a FedEx World Center.
No. The store we went to, it was like a Staples or something like that.
Oh yeah, we went to Staples too.
Went there, gave them the drive, and they made us 10 copies on cards, the actual fingerprint cards.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because we wanted to practice, and we said we got to get one of them right.
That's right.
Mhm.
Lord have mercy.
Y'all.
We got down to the last card. So what we did is I took the best of the 3 cards. I sent 3 cards of fingerprints to the FBI, and you had
I sent 3 too.
yeah. So they got to take one of them unless they
Some
get
of
pissed off and say
gotta
we
be
ain't
valid.
taking this crap.
Yeah.
So it could have really gone south.
Yeah, it could have.
See?
Now, see, instead of flying back, we FedExed our passports. We
And
FedExed
they
them
heard
back
that's
to the
not-
friend in LA.
Yeah.
I know we weren't supposed to be without our passports.
I know.
But I'm not spending another $1,000. FedExed them to LA.
I know.
He FedExed them to San Francisco.
Right.
Then San Francisco FedExed them back to him because we had already
We
prepaid for
prepaid
that.
for it.
Yeah.
And then he FedExed them back to us.
Then we could leave the country.
Then we could leave the country.
But didn't they were saying that sometimes they wouldn't have
Yeah, like I was trying to do all my research, make sure everything was be good, and we had thought about just mailing it, but then I was reading stories of people being denied because they did not have the entry stamp back into the States. So and it
We had to make a board.
We made a border run, but we didn't have to come back to the States.
Yeah, we didn't have to go to the States.
We just made the border run to the UK. You just had to be outside of the Shenzhen. So we made a border run to. We did we watched PETA.
Yeah, we did a house sit for a week.
Manchester. We flew to Manchester.
Yeah.
And came back in, and we came back in with the stamp.
Yep. Literally, the moral of the story is there's 97 different ways to do this thing. And
There
you
are.
need to figure out what works for you.
Yeah,
Exactly. Do you have the option of choosing the location of the office you want to use for processing your immigration? No.
No, well, I'll say there's been some changes in AMA, but it depends on what the visa is. If you come in under some express of interest, you can put down a list of which offices you like to go to for that purpose. But I think it depends on which visa you're going for. If you're coming under any of the generic visas that most of us are going to be coming over here under, no. They just, when they stamp your book, on that stamp is the link to your date and time for your appointment.
Right.
Yeah. But in the States, you have to, they have it separated by regions, Pinky.
Where you live.
Oh, wait, who was it? Not Pinky, Jazzy D. They have it separated by regions. And so
I thought
everybody on the west side, not here, but everybody on the west side of the United States has to go to San Francisco. Texas actually goes to DC, which makes no sense. But I mean, it's a big state, and the West Coast probably couldn't handle it anyway.
True. It's true.
Especially
Okay, Pinky, your VFS appointment is August 30th. Congrats. Hope I can book
my
the house sit for that week. Otherwise, it'll be a day trip, right? Staying there is extremely expensive, even if it's just overnight.
Yep. Ain't no joke.
No joke.
It's gonna go perfect. That's my birthday, so it's gonna be perfect for you.
It's gonna go perfectly. All right.
It's gonna be a gift.
So we are going to cut this one a little bit short. It looks like all of the questions have been answered. So what advice do you have for people who move to a city like y'all did and then figure out this is not the ticket?
Look for what you want. So if you move someplace and you realize that there's stuff there that you don't like, take note of that. But that doesn't mean that, like, we could have easily said, oh, Portugal's not for us because we didn't like the Algarve. No, look for what you like. There's so much more areas in that location that you can go and explore.
Yeah.
So look for what you like, and then you can go and move to a different spot. You don't have to stay at that same spot.
Yeah, I think, being plugged into these type of communities where you can talk to people firsthand and ask the questions is going to be huge advantage, even though no one can tell you exactly because you're your own person. And know that in life, like anything else, you can always pivot. You can always change. And like the same way you got in is the same way you can leave. The same way you move there, you can move there. So just be open, get out of your mind of what you think it should be, and be open and flexible to know that it's all going to work out. And like you were saying earlier, you forget all the little nuances once you're like sipping sangria by the water.
There you go.
You're like,
there you go.
Right?
I agree. I agree with you. Get out of your own head. it's everything is figure outable. You
Yes.
can fix things. You haven't failed. You haven't failed yourself until you just totally give up and don't want to try anymore.
Yes.
But there's a place for everybody. Portugal may not be the spot. Spain might be the spot. Italy might. I mean, we've had people that came over here talking about Portugal and then turned up wanting to go to Italy or
Yeah.
Greece.
Yeah.
So find out what makes you happy, what makes you feel good. Find your joy.
Yeah.
And I would just add to that, don't get so emotionally committed to your decision that if you have to pivot, it creates more stress than it needs to.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Because, it's like, I done told everybody I'm moving to Lisbon. And now if I say I don't like it, they're going to say, see, told you so, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about that.
I
Don't worry
know.
about any of that.
Please.
Do what your heart leads you to do. Go. And if you find that it's, everything is not gelling, it does not mean that Portugal is not the place, as
Right.
Dee said. It could just be that city is not the place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I would turn over every stone first and really be clear about and put it in writing
Yes.
what you want your day-to-day life to look like.
Yes.
And see, and then leave room for alterations, because I left all of my fancy clothes in Denver because I'm like, I ain't doing none of that stuff no more. But then I got tired of wearing sweats every day.
I know. I'm like, what are you talking about? When I first met you at Alex's birthday, you were fabulous. You had this black like. I was like, she is so fabulous. Her jewels. I'm like, what do you mean she left her fancy clothes? What was she wearing?
I just gotten back from the States.
We had just got.
Okay, and I brought my stuff with me because I was like, I miss dressing up.
Yeah.
I don't need thank God I don't have to go to all of these political fundraisers anymore. Yeah. That I did not like. I don't like being on, right? And having to work the room and do all that nonsense. But I like dressing up.
Right.
Sometimes. And I want to. And so it's like, so I bought some of that stuff back with me, and I hadn't given it away because I didn't know exactly what our life was going to look like. And here you are, right?
Does anybody know?
So
we're all just
no, but you make assumptions about what you gonna do and what you ain't gonna do. Assumptions, right? And that's just what they are, assumptions, because then you get there and you're like, well, no, actually, I do want to do that sometimes.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So, all right, last question. They're trying to sneak it in. Hey, Pinky, sometimes things don't work out like you thought. Exactly. Sometimes it's the timing. Yep. Sometimes it's just not a match. Exactly.
Yeah, and the thing is, you moved for a reason. There was something in you that you wanted to move for a reason. Right. So don't call it a failure just because one place didn't match. There's still something within you that wants to move for some reason. Find out where it is.
Yeah, get more in touch with what that thing is. And again, I just have to emphasize, don't let other people's opinions sway you. That will keep you stuck, right? So with that, if you have more questions about how to move abroad, we have a Move Abroad Toolkit. That information is in the description below. If you need more handholding or you need help making a plan, we offer one-on-one coaching. That information is in the description below. Before you do any of that, you need to make sure your money is straight.
Yes.
Like Crystal and Dee said, things pop up. And you don't want to be around here talking about where can I find a job, because we don't move. We don't move to places like this to take jobs away from local folks. That's not how we roll. So, right. So you come, you got your side hustle going, whatever. You got to have your money straight. If you need help with that, we have our Beyond the Bling, our financial course for late bloomers. That information is in the description below. And I think that's it. We will see you on Thursday. And then the following Sunday, we will be talking to a friend of ours who had to make that pivot, who had to go for plan B. So we will talk about that next week.
Thank you.
See y'all.
Thanks, everybody.